Hello and welcome to World News here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Cato. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán meets with US President Donald Trump in the White House today, hoping to secure exemptions from sanctions against Russian energy companies later this month. A potential peace summit between the American president and Russian dictator Vladimir Putin in Budapest could be on his wish list too, after the idea was scrapped just days after it was recently proposed. Our correspondent in Budapest, Andrew Sweeney, has the latest.
Well, Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán will be hoping to capitalise on his warm relations with US President Donald Trump as he visits the White House today. Trump has described Orbán as a friend, one of the most respected men. They call him a strong man. For his part, Prime Minister Orbán believes that the meeting with Trump is critical for Hungary, saying that it would open a new chapter in Hungarian-American relations, prioritising energy cooperation and investments. His priority will be to secure a Hungarian exception from upcoming sanctions by the US against Russian energy companies Rosneft and Lukoil. Hungary is particularly dependent on Russian energy imports, which account for 95% of its total gas supply and 92% of its oil. Hungary's Foreign Minister Péter Szijjártó announced that the US and Hungary would sign a nuclear energy cooperation agreement. Prime Minister Orbán will also be hoping to restart talks about holding a peace summit in Budapest between President Trump and Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. The talks were scrapped 2 weeks ago before they even got underway, damaging Orbán's domestic image as a peacemaker as he faces a challenge in parliamentary elections next year. The meeting between the two leaders is due to start at 11:30 a.m. Washington, D.C., 5:30 p.m. Warsaw time. For TVP World, Andrew Sweeney.
Poland's energy giant Orlen has signed a deal with Ukraine's Naftogaz for the export of LNG as a means to support Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Orlen will import the raw material from the U.S. to one of its terminals, regasify it, and then send it via gas pipelines to Ukraine. The agreement covers the delivery of 3 shipments of American LNG to Ukraine in the first quarter of 2026. According to the CEO of Naftogaz, as Russia continues its attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, these deliveries will provide additional fuel desperately needed during this winter season. Ukraine's defenders face their biggest challenge this year as the besieged city of Pokrovsk may soon become overrun by Russian troops. If Pokrovsk is lost, it will become the biggest urban center to fall to the invading forces since Bakhmut in 2023. Our correspondent Oz Chatterjee reports from Kyiv.
Heavy fighting is ongoing in the eastern Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk, with Russian forces continuing to advance in the eastern Donetsk region. Now, Ukrainian forces continue to engage with the Russians inside the city. Videos published by Ukrainian forces show that fighting remains within the city. However, there are question marks as to how much longer Ukrainian forces can hold on in the city, with the Russians steadily advancing throughout the last few weeks, with Ukrainian monitors such as Deep State saying the area was quite porous now to Russian advances. However, Ukrainian High Command has still resisted calls to withdraw. The Ukrainians believe they have inflicted more than 9,500 fatalities on the Russian invading forces. So this is still seen as quite a strategically important town for the Ukrainians to hold. Fighting is ongoing there. No sign of a withdrawal yet, but with the Ukrainian forces under significant pressure, there are question marks as to how much longer they can hold out in that eastern city of Pokrovsk. It's Oz Chatterjee reporting from Kyiv for TVP World.
The new Czech Speaker of Parliament has ordered the removal of the Ukrainian flag from Parliament. It had been displayed on the building since the start of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 as a symbol of support for the country. Tomio Okamura and his far-right SPD party had promised before the elections that only Czech flags would fly on Czech public buildings. 3 flags are now flown on the parliament building: the Czech flag, the European Union flag, and the Israeli flag, which has been there since the terrorist attack by Hamas in October 2023. Politicians from the outgoing coalition government and the Pirate Party expressed their disagreement with Okamura and their solidarity with Ukraine by hanging blue and yellow flags from the windows of their parliamentary offices. Okamura was elected Speaker of Parliament on Wednesday as part of a coalition deal with another far-right party and Andrej Babiš's ANO movement. Another chapter in the seemingly endless quest for frozen Russian assets is about to begin. According to Politico, European Commission officials are set to meet with Belgian leadership in a bid to win their support to the EU's plan. At stake is some 140 billion euros in frozen Russian assets, which could help bolster Ukraine's ailing budget. But Belgium has long resisted the idea on legal grounds. Our Brussels correspondent Angela Skujins has this story.
Senior officials from the EU executive are meeting with top Belgian brass from the government of Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever. The aim is to bring an end to the loggerheads between these two houses here in the Belgian capital, aiming to find a conclusion for the 140 billion euro reparations loan for Ukraine. The idea was cooked up by the European Commission with the aim of using the cash proceeds from those immobilized Russian state assets, mostly held here in Belgium, to give Ukraine money to sustain itself over the next 2 years. The Belgian government is the main antagonist against the pitch, with the Prime Minister worried that it's not entirely legal or safe. So all eyes will be on the Belgian capital on Friday with the aim of getting a hopeful outcome for Ukraine. Angela Skujins from Brussels for TVP World.
With the pace of climate change now speeding up, extreme weather and other consequences are taking an increasing toll on populations and environments across the globe. As the latest edition of the COP Climate Summit begins, here are some of the developments this year in the field of environmental science.
Some 50 world leaders are gathering in Belém, Brazil for a two-day climate action summit. The event will feature world leaders attempting to tackle the biggest challenges faced by Earth's environment.
Clean energy is winning in price, performance and potential, offering the solutions to transform our economies and protect our populations. What is still missing is political courage.
The COP30 conference will kick off next Monday and last for almost 2 weeks. The aim of the conference is to limit global temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels.
Too many corporations are making record profits from climate devastation, with billions spent on lobbying, deceiving the public and obstructing progress. And too many leaders remain captive to these entrenched interests.
This year, the EU agreed to cut emissions by 90% by 2040, but also opened the door to buying foreign carbon credits for up to 5%. In the EU context, carbon credits refer to tradable certificates representing a reduction or removal of 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent. They are generated by climate-friendly projects and can be bought and sold. These are distinct from the allowances in the EU's own emission trading system, ETS.
In Poland, we have to go for energy transition, and we have to do that because in the next 10 years, coal power plants will be almost gone. So we need to something to replace them.
Poland also moves toward clean energy with, among other projects, an offshore wind farm on the Baltic Sea, a joint venture between Poland's Orlen Group and Canada's Northland Power. The project will feature 76 turbines capable of powering over 1 million homes. Once complete, it is expected to meet around 3% of Poland's electricity demand, marking a major step in the country's shift from coal to renewable energy, and possibly reducing energy prices by building the country's energy independence.
Climate change is a result of the same dynamics that, over the centuries, have fractured our society between rich and poor and divided it between developed and developing countries.
The impact of high temperature and extreme weather events have damaged cropland, eroded livelihoods and deepened poverty, and contributed to people's displacement across multiple regions. According to the State of the Climate update for the COP30, green investments can slow down the damaging effects of climate change.
And that's all for World News at this hour. Thank you so much for being with us, and stay tuned for more on TVP World. Goodbye.